Productions on the track.
What's up, everybody? This is Case Study QB, and we are the Political Junkies back at it again. Coming back off of we had a 1 week hiatus because of July 4th, but we're back at it. A lot of news have gone by since then. We're going to just do a whole bunch of clips and reactions before we do, and of course, we're going to let people have the opportunity to jump on, and we could discuss if you have any questions or if you want to discuss any topic. But let me go around the horn, say what's up to my people. Producer Bendome, what's going on, my man? Bendome.
Ready to go.
Let's do it. Big Carlito, what's that? You testing out your memes? A-Town, yeah.
John down.
What's up? Happy Monday.
Yeah. Big Fun, what's going on?
What's up, people? Welcome back.
Yeah. Hey, PJ Chris is in the building. What's up, PJ Chris? First one in the chat. Much love to you. Much love to you. Holly Horn is in the building. PJ Holly, what's going on? All right, so let's get straight to the politics. I got this first one that I saw a couple people already commented on it, but we definitely want to comment on this clip.
A woman's right to choose is a human right. Why are we so quiet about challenging the US when they threaten human rights? Some people have said in here, oh, we can't be, how dare we talk about the US? Well, we talk about everybody else. Is the US a functioning democracy? Well, let's have a look at it. It costs $2 billion to become president. They're 25% of the total prisoners in the world. They spend over $800 billion a year on arms, which is more than most of the world put together. They've been at war for 250 years since their state was formed 275 years ago. But they can't afford universal health care. They can't afford the 1.7 trillion debt forgiveness for students. They can't afford a program for the 17 million children that go to bed hungry. Is this a functioning democracy? What's your idea of a democracy? Bernie Sanders wasn't even allowed to win the nominations. The Americans couldn't spell democracy. Woman's right.
Oh, man. That was hilarious. Who wants to go first?
Yeah, what's up with the cut-off T-shirts? That's like so relaxed how they are in Europe.
That's the work from home vibes.
I was wondering myself.
COVID hangover. He just showed up first day. You know what I mean?
Hey, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you dress as long as you spill fats over there. So
no lies told.
Sure did.
No lies told.
He sure did. Like he said, American can't even spell democracy.
Yeah, I wonder if he's like the Green Party version of someone in Congress, like the far. And I hate to say far left because I think Green Party they're probably like the middle compared to the rest of the world, but you know what I mean, like on the fringes of power. That he just showed up in a T-shirt. He's almost like Marjorie Taylor Greene would show up, or who does that? Kristen Sinema. She wears some wild stuff in Congress herself.
But he called up the DNC on Bernie though.
Yeah, I love the commentary. I say that much. And you know what? I see PJ Holly. I know you usually jump on, so Bendone we could put the link in there and see what Holly thinks of that clip. But I want to see more truth. And he said one thing that stuck out in my mind is he said that they call out other people, other countries, but they don't call out the U.S. And that just shows you how much influence the U.S. have all around the world that they're just afraid to say what he just said. All right, let's go on to the next thing. So I got a clip from this that this clip happened a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was like a 1 week ago.
It's just sensible things. What do you think of the gun safety bill that Biden just signed into law? What do you think about that? Like that napkin right there? Just a little piece of paper. It's not meaningful. It's to say that they did something.
Yeah.
I think the red flag incentives are actually have the potential to be beneficial. But if you ask any of the organizations that are really doing gun rights policy work, they would tell you that they would prefer much, much more.
Yeah, I don't agree with nothing that says bipartisan nowadays.
If Bill Cassidy is on the thing, who's the other senator from Louisiana, ain't nothing in it coming out there good for black folks. Okay? Ain't nothing good in it coming out there that's sensible in this country because he does not care.
Yeah.
You know, and so telling me that he's a part of it, he's only going to be a part of it if he thinks that it's beneficial for the community that he represents.
Yeah. I like the fact that Charlemagne the God is realizing that bipartisan bills are usually not a very good bill. What do you think, Big Pun?
Yeah, man, I agree. I'm glad that he went ahead and said, "Hey, if this guy's involved in it, it probably isn't good for my community, but it's good for his." You know, we got to call each other out, man. I think it's important. And this whole legislation that just happened. It's like, again, I think it's a Band-Aid on a big problem. It's not a solution.
So, Case, can you give me a history lesson on why bipartisan bills aren't good for us?
Well, because typically and this goes back to, I would even go back to Obama in those years when he had a supermajority and he was still looking for bipartisanship when he had over 60 senators in the Democratic Party. And what they typically would do, what would happen is they would water down the effectiveness. So a Democratic, almost like a progressive bill in the recent case, the Build Back Better bill, it started off, Bernie Sanders wanted a $6 trillion bill that had universal child care, had a whole bunch of very good things that everyone would have felt it in their pockets and in the community. And then it whittled down to 3.5 trillion. And then it went down to Joe Manchin, who he's the kind of the bipartisan, because we all know he's more like a Republican. He's the one that said, okay, I'll do 1.5 trillion. Right? Yeah. So as you try to attract the opposite, the GOP, to come onto a bill, the only way they would join that bill is if it gets watered down to what they want it to be. And even then, they might still not vote for it, because that's what happened to Obamacare. Like, they had to do it through reconciliation, which means that you only get 50, you only need 50 votes. And no Republicans voted for it, even though Republicans in bad faith said, okay, we'll vote for it if you do this, this, and this. They did all of those things. They took out public option, etc., and they still didn't vote for the bill.
Yeah, well, the stupid part there was like, if you know they're not going to vote for it, just do whatever you want.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's even before Obama, because even you brought up, for Biden. I mean, they were doing that with the other ways when it was like Bush president, and then there would, the crime bill, things like that. It was all the tax laws, the past pretty much are bipartisan. So it's it was way before Obama.
I think it's kind of sad. I think that it comes truly the way it's supposed to work is bipartisan with these two parties, right? But it seems that when the result of whatever that is never really good for either side, because it's like people are just not agreeing with what it's supposed to be, and then they go ahead and they go, okay, well, we'll just cut this out. So it's sort of like a slashing on each side until they get to a thing where they both think they're doing something. And ultimately, it's a disservice to both sides. No one's happy, and whatever happens is not as effective as it should have been if there was true bipartisan.
I mean, there's true bipartisanship when it's something that will help corporations.
Right, but not again, exactly, but not the people. It's never for the people.
But I mean, in that case, it's not 1,000 cuts or whatever. It's like, yeah, the corporate wing of both parties, we all agree that we want corporations to pay less in taxes and use slave labor, whatever it is, man. Pay nobody any, livable wages. We pretty much agree on that.
And in the case of the recent gun reform bill, like many people, I saw clips that I was watching on mainstream media. They even admitted that it's just a gesture.
It's just like
a performative.
We
gesture.
did something.
Yep.
We did something.
It's like
something.
Check a box.
Right.
We could say, during election year, November, they'll say, "Oh, we reform gun control or something." They will make it seem like they did so much, and they just basically didn't do anything.
But
they did not do anything.
Yeah, but it's like they don't need bipartisanship for some things, but it's like they don't want, Biden is a Republican. say it again. When it comes to like with guns, you know, a lot of these states they get money from the federal government for their law enforcement, and they got ways to be like, hey, you guys do, for example, tracking when somebody gets flagged or somebody or a cop, is kicked off the force for doing something mass sus, put it in this database that everybody can see, and he doesn't get hired in the next town over. And if you don't do it, you don't get money from us.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
they don't do it.
Wasn't it just a cop right now? Which one was the one in Indiana just got hired in Pennsylvania?
It was the Tamir Rice cop.
Yeah,
the guy that
I heard
Tamir Rice. He was hired with like a 90-day plan or something to become like the chief of that town or something. So he was going to be it, and people started flooding. It was somewhere in some show they talked about it, and people just started flooding the town Facebook and calling, and he pulled back his application.
Can you imagine that interview?
Speaking of cops,
imagine that interview. Was there ever a time something was difficult at your job?
I want to show this video of a homeless man got arrested in front of a homeless shelter for sleeping in front of a homeless shelter.
I just
show this video, unfortunately.
Avenue approach, okay? Eric, I'm going to ask you to get up for us.
I wish I had some phone.
You can't film, sir. You can't film. That's a client. He has no film proof.
This is a public space, so please step back from me, sir.
Yeah.
I'm asking you to please stay away from me.
No, he's white.
This is a public sidewalk. Stay away from me. Sir, it's a public sidewalk. Stay away from me.
All right. Oh man, you gotta be so aggressive.
They don't even have shoes.
Yeah, this goes on for 10 minutes, but totally crazy.
This is the one. This is the same article I shared. Remember, I think it says they arrested him 160 times so far.
Oh, San Diego.
Yeah, that's the one.
In San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego.
Okay.
It says 28 years.
So you think they knew him?
28-year-old. He has 160 arrests, and he has clearly mental health issue. I think I shared the article in one of our in the chat.
Yeah,
it talks about it. Like, how, 160 times, they already know who it is. That mental health, instead of helping them, they just continue to arrest them.
So I'm good. My confusion is he's basically in private property of the homeless shelter. So did the homeless center
Did they call him? Right.
To get him removed? Because if not, the police really have no reason to be there unless someone said he's causing a disturbance.
My opinion is that I think somebody must have called. It might not have been the shelter people, but somebody must have said this guy's an eyesore, like a nuisance, like he's out there sleeping in front of this building, and maybe it's not a good look. And then they have to come and they have to wake him up, and he's like probably as confused as anybody else. I'm like, why are the cops arresting me? I'm at the homeless shelter. I'm not in it, but I'm at it.
And the tweeter said Father Joe called the cops on the young man sleeping. So I guess Father Joe sounds like maybe a priest.
Okay.
Charge.
Damn.
Organization.
Oh, this is shocking.
Yeah.
I think a priest would be a little more.
Father Joe called police. Yeah.
We need to know where the church is.
Sure, Father Joe's is not like a pizza shop.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
Oh, here it is. See, Father Joe's is the name of the shelter.
So if they
Joe's
called,
Villages.
then that's another story.
Well, villages. Is that a shelter? That sounds like something.
No, they make the shelter look sound
With a
cute.
little kid.
Villages?
With a little kid on it, priest and a little
So
kid being the...
so then the shelter called the police on him for being in front of the shelter.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. That's why I was like, I gotta talk about
To me, that sounds like they probably have had issues with him before, and they didn't want to bring him inside. Why wouldn't you not tell him to come inside the shelter?
But he has mental health, so who knows if
He could be
mental
a
health
disturbance to other people or whatever, or what have you.
Or maybe he didn't want to come in.
Who knows?
Maybe
Who knows? I don't know. Who knows?
But I still wouldn't call the cops on him. He wasn't bothering nobody.
So,
personally.
question: Who do you call?
That's what we need. Mental health division.
But pull the article up real quick if you can, if you have it right there. So if this is the same case, right? Like you're gonna arrest someone 160 times, right? Think about that. You're gonna arrest someone 160 times, and you already they already know has mental health issue. Like how you wouldn't be able to figure that out after the second arrest?
Well, this is why, like, cops on the beat from back in the day were a good thing, right? Community policing, where you already know who your people were, right? So the cops that would show up would be like, "Oh, that's Jimmy. He's always doing this. Hey, Jim, what are you doing, Papa? You got to get up. You can't be out here like this." You know what I'm saying? As opposed to 5 guys that show up like, "Hey, get up." You know what I'm saying? It's like this is what we're talking about, right? Know your people, but then this is part of what's the difference is. You know what the problem is. You know?
Yeah, I think this Father Joe's place. I think that's a place that they got like units where like, they probably get government money to house people there, and that guy was staying for free. He wasn't paying.
The awkward funny part, it says Mental Health Awareness Month, breaking the stigma. They had an article there, their homepage published May 12th.
Oh,
yeah,
Lord,
so in the chat, was the Stephen Schulman said it's been shown that it's less costly to house people. The article said that it's something like 80,000 in jail and like 30-some thousand to house. Yeah, 81,000 versus 32,000 per year for housing and social services. Versus, so 32 to help somebody, give them a place to stay, versus 81,000 to keep them locked up. It just saves money. It makes sense.
And not help them, right? Sad.
All right, so yeah, it's definitely sad. Here is I'm gonna go through some tweets. So I thought this was this happened today. Workers and elected leaders across Detroit, Michigan are coming together for a Unions for All summit. So I was like, yeah, applauding that. Let's get more action and organizing going. Hopefully we can build some union strength. Even if there's a union party, a labor, maybe we need an American Labor Party. Combat with the Democratic Party.
Hey, speaking of unions, the Dodgers.
Yeah, I got that queued up. Go ahead, but you could go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, all the people that are part of that union that do all the the catering, all the hot dog vendors, all the everybody in there, they approve like by 99% that they are not that they're gonna strike, but they approve that they the strike if they have to. And the All-Star game is about to be there. So, that's a
perfect timing.
What a better time.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome to use your leverage. That's like
And the thing that I'm waiting for in the article, it says how when the Major League Baseball Players Association were striking, they would support them. They were showing support to the Players Association. So I want to see if the Players Association is going to return the favor.
Yeah. I'm with Big Pun. I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't think so.
I think so. I think you may see.
Really, we're gonna see Clayton Kershaw out there going, "Yo, pay these guys." We're gonna see all those. We're gonna see Mookie Betts out there.
There was in defense of players. There was players out there that were paying, that were trying to pay some workers when they were there. There were some teams. There was some stuff like obviously it wasn't everybody. But there was, I think Mike Trout paid the 1 month of salary.
Right.
I mean, so
That's great.
So let's let's not go. Obviously, it may not be 100% of them, but we may find like
Oh,
a
it's gonna be.
handful.
They'll definitely. I agree with John. There's definitely gonna be some, and I think that's because we kind of seen players standing up for the right thing before when the All-Star game was in Atlanta. After a whole bunch of racist laws were passed,
Yes.
they were like, "Yeah, I'm not playing over there," and they had to move it.
That's what we would need, though. We would need them to say, "Hey, I'm not playing in the All-Star game," and and these are all All-Stars. So if any one of them say, "Hey, I'm not playing unless you pay them," that's real support.
It could happen.
I think I definitely could see a Max. Sure, there is talking about it, saying like, yeah, like we struggled because we were looking for best for us. So
I could see that. I could see that. Like I said, a couple guys, maybe everybody coming out going, "Hey, we got you. Don't worry." Hey, it'd be great. Players that didn't make the All-Star game, maybe they could work at a concession stand. How about that?
Yeah. Here's one more union tweet that I have here. It says, breaking: nursing home workers in Detroit are walking off the job and joining the Fight for 15 and Local 1 and other unions in a strike line. So this is the video of them walking off. And I got an impromptu no-call zone for you guys because I also clipped a video of airplane pilots. They had a whole line of them, and they were. But this is the thing: they were doing this on their off day, that they were doing a picket line. My question to everybody on the chat would be, especially me myself, because I'm going to be flying shortly to Atlanta. Matter of fact, I might hit up my man Carlito in the next weekend. How would you guys feel if all the right? And about the chaos already. Already cancellation, but yeah, what you guys?
The pilots, yeah, one thing, but are they gonna help out the flight attendants too? They get abused way more.
That's a good question. They got a union though. I mean, well, the pilots have a union too.
Everybody.
Yeah, I think everybody should strike. That's the question. Like, now is the time to strike. Even though the CEOs of these airline industries seem like they have all the power, because you got Pete Buttigieg. As a matter of fact, I'll play a video from him soon. Pete Buttigieg is basically not doing anything about it. It's not, Bernie Sanders suggested to fine 55,000 if it's a 2-hour delay, and other things that I'm going to bring up shortly. But my question: how about you, John? Would you be cool with like shutting down the whole airline?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, like I was cool with letting them go bankrupt. Like, I still don't like. That's why, like, when you go in, they want all these bailout, and they purposely are doing all this scheduling, and being like, oh, sorry, like they doing stuff illegally,
overfilling.
Yeah, so like I absolutely think that the DOT should come hard on them. But obviously, this administration doesn't want to, like, I don't understand what the point of this administration is, because they don't do anything. So
yeah, they do what they want. They wanted to lift the mask mandates from the airlines. The administration said, okay.
Let me show this video right here.
Oh, this is great. I love this.
Oh, this is great. I love this. Outcome so that we don't even.
On Wednesday, Senator Bernie Sanders called for fines up to $55,000 per passenger if an airline cancels a flight due to staffing shortages. Is the situation so bad that DOT should start fining airlines?
We have fined airlines where they've failed to provide refunds or treat customers well in other ways.
But not for canceling a flight for staffing.
Right. So there are other authorities that we may have, and we're going to look at it. But what I'd much rather do is just have a good outcome so that we don't even have to go there. It's clear that the airline sector is not ready to meet public expectations, and I'm concerned about that.
Whose fault is that?
I'm not interested in the blame game. I'm interested in making sure that passengers can get to where they need to be.
A record. On Wednesday, Senator Bernie Sanders.
So the government keeps the money, the fines?
Yeah, we should find them. I would have said, see, this is if I was Pete Buttigieg. I would say, okay, this is my calculations. I want to run for president at some point, right? Bernie Sanders, if Biden steps down, Bernie Sanders might run again in 2024. So this is what I'm going to do. Okay, so Bernie's suggesting $55,000 to fine. I'm going to double that. I'm going to suggest $100,000. We're going to fine you guys if you continue to create book airplane because nobody's telling them to book these flights. They're overbooking on purpose and then canceling when they know that they don't have.
He's not gonna get that corporate PAC money from the airline CEO.
That's the thing. There you go.
That's what always frustrates me about US, right? Like when they, cry foul, it's like, oh, we heard and COVID hit us, so we need a bailout, we need this. There you go. Tons of money for them to come out and do it
out of nowhere. Right.
Out of nowhere.
Not only tons of money, John. Not only tons of money. Let me jump in real quick. The government could have bought the airline industries with the amount of money that we gave them.
So then you gave them all this stuff, and then they purposely do it. It has nothing to do with weather, not mechanically, nothing. They purposely do it, and then what they doing also is the way that they doing is they changing your flight. So they'll be like, oh, your flight is delayed 3 hours. So people look at that as like, well, I may not head to the airport, and 10 minutes later they'll be like, oh, your flight's on time now. Or so now people are like, oh, well, yeah, they do. There's a lot of shady stuff going on that are people, and the way they say it is, well, we still recommend or we hold you accountable for being on time for your flight. So if you send me an email, I have an 11 o'clock flight, you send me an email at 7 a.m. telling me that my flight now is delayed till 4. Why am I going to get to the airport at 9? Then you wait a little bit and then you'll be like, oh, yeah, your flight's on time now. They do that a few times. They do that now. There's a lot of grimy stuff. So now that person misses their flight, they'll put you on. They're like, oh, we can't book you into the next 3 days or so. So they push you whatever they want to put you. And now they don't have to even pay you that overbook flight fees, So then, so they do a lot of like tricks games here and there to get away with that. And DOT is like, yeah, sure. Like, we don't want to tell you anything. Like, we just want to,
and these companies got money, right? On the news, it was like they paid a guy $10K to give up a seat. $10K.
Yeah.
I heard about that. I actually talked to my wife. I was like, yo, should we just book a flight and see if we can get this money and go back home?
The routes that are most likely canceled. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So matter of fact, we just talked about 2024 real quick. So I'm going to bring up this clip discussing 2024, and you guys are going to get a little pissed off at this clip. I bet.
Real quick, Jess, if you're putting them in line, you've got Biden, then next you'd go to Hillary, or you'd go Gretchen Whitmer or Gavin Newsom. Who would be the plan B for you if Biden doesn't run?
My plan, I think we should be looking everywhere if Biden doesn't run. Yes, Gretchen Whitmer, Mitch Landrieu, Kamala will obviously throw her hat in the ring there. Amy Klobuchar. I'd like John Tester. We could win with John Tester.
You will never get the rest of your party behind John Tester.
I like the presidency more than I like these horrible primaries. I mean, run Joe Manchin. I don't care.
Okay, that's an intriguing idea.
Well, why? He votes with our party majority of the time.
Yeah. Okay.
And we would win. We would vote for Joe Manchin.
That would be sane. We'll take up the Manchin question maybe on a...
Oh my God.
Joe Manchin. Oh my God.
She said we run a Joe Manchin cinema ticket. Why not? Let's go.
Is that in the Republican Party?
No, she's from the Democratic Party.
Yeah, that's when the guy's eyes just bugged out. Like, what? I mean,
even them, they were like, who? Like, what?
Like who?
Yeah.
You said Manchin, girl.
I mean, she said it, and she just would rather not have a contested primary. Well, guess who had a contested primary? The GOP. When Donald Trump ran, they had like 20 people up there.
The clown car.
Donald Trump. He calling everybody names in Rubio was not Rubio. Ted Cruz.
Rubio
assassinated his father. Assassinated JFK. You know what I'm saying? And he won.
Well, that's what we were talking about in the chat. I was mentioning that when the Republicans, they will, talk about their mamas, do whatever in the primaries, but when the generals come, it's like, all right, you got to win. But when it comes to the Democrats, they're like, now they hurt my feelings, so I'm not voting for them now, and then we lose.
That was the ultimate.
Pretty much.
That was the ultimate situation there. That clown car of every GOP person. And by the way, I say clown car because they're all clowns. But the truth of the matter is that was the GOP's like top line. It was Rubio. It was Ted Cruz. I mean, it was all those guys, and this dude took them all out. Okay, little by little, one by one. So you can say what you want about whatever that was, But that's but and then these two folks on the screen here, is that how bad this is how bad the state of things have gotten, right? In a two-party system, we talk about the lesser of two evils. We don't even know what the lesser of what evil we have is yet. I mean, we're like, oh well. And I love the way she matter-of-factly throws in the vice president. That was my favorite part of the whole thing. Yeah, even Kamala, really? Even?
It could have been number one.
Oh my God.
I know, exactly.
It's like, this is where we are, bro. And so sad to watch these folks talk about it. You're like, I don't want to hear it. It's how bad it is. I don't want to hear it.
So everybody she named was absolutely grotesque. Like everybody she named was grotesque.
Choices.
I'm gonna
Horrible. So let me show.
I'm gonna throw somebody in
Go ahead.
that I mentioned before in a signal chat, and I know some people will be like, really, but yo, AOC.
The only problem I have with AOC running is that the fact that she when Bernie Sanders ran and he went on Joe Rogan's show, I heard that she wasn't in favor of it. Now everybody feels a certain way about Joe Rogan, right? But the thing about him is he does have 9 million.
He does.
It was very positive. If you look in the comments, it was very positive, and he gained a lot of support. Wouldn't the Democrats or whoever it is want to go on there and get promoted? And he pretty much endorsed Bernie Sanders at that point. I heard she's against that. So does that mean?
And in 12, he was down with Rand Paul. So I mean, what does this mean? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
So that's your deal breaker. I mean, or something.
No, my deal breaker. So let me continue. That was what that shows is that she talked about Latinx in a recent video too. So it's almost like she's gotten into when she first got elected, she seemed to be more a woman of the people, and it's like she's creeping over into like getting that establishment creep, like that Congress mindset, that DC bubble.
Okay.
So that's what it seems to be.
Anywhere near
how
a mansion or cinema.
Yeah.
Oh no, she's not on mission. My point is, my point is, can she build a coalition to win?
Yeah.
She will actually build a coalition.
She'll raise the $9 billion.
Right? They're like, yo, we'll throw whoever out, but then once they win, we behind our man or our woman. On the left, we're like, man, she said this about Rogan that want that.
Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan.
Hold on.
I want to make sure I'm clear. I want to make sure I'm clear because it's not only about her not liking that Bernie said. It's the mindset. No, that's the point I'm trying to make.
Wait.
And the mindset is meaning that you got to be able to build a coalition of. So the opposite would be John Fetterman, for example. This guy walking out in shorts. He's related. There's another Democrat running in Pennsylvania who's like neck and neck with the Republican while he's killing Dr. Oz because of him being able to build a coalition with people who would vote GOP. Can you see AOC building a coalition with people who would vote GOP?
Have you ever seen AOC speak? Have you ever seen AOC speak? The number one thing that she hold on. No, time out. I'll let you finish your thought. Let me finish my thought, right? So then we could go back and forth. Have you heard her speak about what's the number one issue that the Democrat has? Is that she says that we forget about that GOP, that conservative, suburban people that don't have, and we need to reach out to them as well. Like we need to go to those towns that, oh no, they're so Republicans, we're not going to give any votes there. And she talks about that. We have to do that. And in order for the Democrats to win, they have forgotten about the white collar, people, blue collar. What is it? Blue collar? Sorry. You know which one I mean. That you have to reach. Yeah, you have to reach to those people, and we have forgotten about those. So when she talks about that, she will be someone that could go to Iowa and knock at every single door, not just Democrats, but also Republican, and get those people across the aisle to believe in what she's saying. Obviously, Fox News is going to go totally crazy. But if there's someone, like, I'm not saying she'll win, but if there's someone that is going to reach across the aisle and probably even bring some, conservative vote, I would say she will be the one, because she always talked about that.
So action speaks louder than words, right? And by the way, I would love for her to run, at least run, by the way. And I would vote for her if she ran, because I think she's that progressive enough that I would want her to be in the president's seat. But I'm just worried about her building a coalition. That's literally what it is. So, and I like that she said that, but action speaks louder than words. And
what kind of coalition you looking for?
Would everybody accept that she went on Joe Rogan's show? Would anybody get mad at her for doing it?
No, listen, I'm not
mad at her, but she go for whatever. That's her.
I wouldn't.
Listen, I wouldn't get mad at her for going on Joe Rogan's show, right? Joe has built his fan base on the idea that he's led a lot of people on. I mean, he's had crazy people on, and but just recently, just interestingly enough, just understand this. So he's down with DeSantis, by the way, which somebody put in the chat, right? And he's drawn the line at not bringing on Trump. So I mean, so understand this. So sometimes I with Joe, I feel like I appreciate the idea that he has people on there that I probably wouldn't hear otherwise. But you have to go ahead and balance that out also, because I put him in the same space as I'm with Bill Maher. I mean, Bill Maher has a lot of things that are funny and they're cool, and he seems a little bit progressive, but there are times where you're like, yo, what the hell are you saying right now? And, he says things that are kind of crazy, Islamophobic sometimes, a little, it's crazy. So you have to temper that, right? You have to temper that. And at the end of the day, these guys are media outlets. They're just they're a fan base. They're looking to build their people, whatever it is. So that can't be the reason why you won't vote for somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And by the way, I don't want to make myself. I'm not a Joe Rogan stan, right? So I'm not like, oh, just because of that, you know. And also, she didn't go to Staten Island initially.
Yeah.
I'm still not mad at her, but it's
stuff,
like the decision making.
You just like cherry picking stuff. Like, you could go in the list of.
She didn't show up.
She didn't show up here.
She forgot the potato salad.
You had one job.
She came to the barbecue and didn't bring barbecue sauce.
After she said she would do
so many excuses about Rogan and Doris and stuff, and then AOC like, yo, she didn't go.
She bought the potato salad, but it had raisins.
Come on, man.
So that's my only worry. Can she build a coalition outside of? There's a lot of liberals. The good thing about AOC is a lot of liberals love her. Liberals that hated Bernie Sanders, a lot of so that's interesting. She might get through the primaries, but then once she gets into that general, that's where she has to get a coalition of.
Listen,
it depends on who she run against, but it'd be very interesting to watch. But we're so polarized.
The only people she's not gonna get is the people on the left that rather see us lose and be pure than to win, like Jordan Ryan over here has saying that she sucks just like Bernie, like she does nothing like Bernie has never done anything, something like that. I'm like, she's got rhetoric and nothing else, just like Bernie. I mean, what kind of that's trash, son. That's trash. Like Bernie was he's like the best politician we probably had in like decades, man. That's ridiculous.
So let's move away from AOC unless anybody else has anything to say about AOC. I'm going to talk about John Fetterman because John Fetterman here, he got a tweet that that's if he wins, he got to get in the Senate first. But here he's just killing Dr. Oz recently, where he said, "Told y'all's down the shore. Hope you saw my very nice message to one of New Jersey's famous longtime residents." And it says, "Hey, Dr. Oz, welcome home to New Jersey. Love, John." So John's just killing him on social media. And hitting Dr. Oz as a carpetbagger, like somebody that just moved to Pennsylvania so that he could try to get that
he
seat.
doesn't even live in Pennsylvania.
Dr. Oz, right?
He lives in New Jersey. That's why he's
he's a Jersey guy.
Exactly.
He's
just a very unconventional. And I'm going to talk about what I don't like about John Fetterman also. But he's a very unconventional candidate. This guy just wears shorts, and he definitely relatable to the common man, right? But definitely something that he's not very good on the BDS issue as far as Israel Palestine. He's been very quiet about that. When it came to Medicare for all, he just said, "Oh, I'll sign any bill that brings us along." And I guess some people can see that's acceptable, which means that he would vote for Medicare for all. He's not an advocate, it seems. As of right now for Medicare. So that's some issues that I have. Some other minor issues. But I would like to see LC run. I would like to see John Fetterman run. I would like to see Nina Turner run. Marianne Williamson run. I think that's the only couple people I can think of right now. But this is what I like to see, because I heard Cal Kalinske say he just wants progressives to put one person up. I want us to do what the establishment Just put up a whole bunch of people, see who sinks and who swims. So Kamala Harris was the first one out, so she did not swim. People who just happened to get all the way to that first contest. That's the type of thing I want to see. And when we see that that person can swim, then we should all get behind that person. But if it's John Fetterman, he's the one that's ahead above everybody. I think that we should all try to get behind that person, whoever.
Well, but so this is where I get confused, or at least my take is different, right? What is considered swimming?
Swimming meaning that you're keeping your pose up. So another example is Elizabeth Warren. She was in along with everybody else, and throughout the campaign, the primaries, certain people went up, certain people came down. Elizabeth Warren was one of the people that came up. She had a very good slogan, I'll admit it, and it came from the grassroots. Where I had a plan for that. I have a plan for that. It's like everything every issue she said, "Oh, I got a plan for that." I thought that was a smart thing that happened. But it wasn't until when she hit and started hitting Bernie, right, with the sexualization. She was saying like Bernie said that she couldn't run for president. She thought it was like a sexist accusation, and she kind of lost a lot of support from that because people knew like, okay, Bernie wanted you to run back in 2016 before he said, okay, you're not going to run. I'll finally run. So like a lot of people knew that was a lie, and that's an example of her breaking up her own coalition, and she just sank like a rock after that. And then also Medicare for All, she came out with her plan for Medicare for All, and it was not a good plan, so that also caused her to sink. So does that answer your question, Bindo?
Yes and no. I think what I took is polling needs to be up in order for you to be considered swimming.
Everything, polling, probably fundraising, even though I'm not too big, but fundraising does show support, so that's why I would include.
I think the progressive movement obviously done it before, hasn't worked. I think they should definitely fall behind, work behind doors, work whatever deals, and say, look, if I win, you'll be my vice president, you'll be my secretary of state, you'll be so, and work behind the deal, and then everybody comes and campaign for that candidate. If you go in and you start doing what we have done in the past, we're going to be here. They're going to give more time for you'll give more time for the establishment to create the little chess move, and then that's what's going to happen. And then you're not going to have time to react. That's just my take on it. I think if we continue to cook the meat the same way, and the meat keep burning, and then expecting it to be right, then we're just going to go in circles, and nothing's really going to get done.
So let me address this, Carlito. Address this question. We have been in the office because Bernie refused to say a bad word about Biden. He laid right down. So again, Carlito, what have they done?
Listen, Jordan, join the chat, join the Discord, and we could get into it. Join the Discord.
Oh, you talking about the link?
Yeah.
If you could join the restream, and you could come on the show, and we could talk. And by the way, this is not to be like we hate you or something like that. We just want to have a discussion. But I would answer that in this way: that I agree, Bernie should have asked for more.
Yeah.
I think Bernie. I like what
we have said that before in the chat.
Yeah, we said that before. We know in person. Like, it should be John, my friend Joe, and you tagged on there. How many times has John talked trash about Bernie, not calling him my friend Joe?
Yeah, we have talked about it a lot. We have said that Bernie ran one of, like, to me, I always said this. I think if you go back to every show that we watch, he bent the knee for nothing again. But we have Biden because the Obama pulled right before Super Tuesday, they pulled a chess move that we talked about. Nobody was prepared for it. They thinking that we were going to go to convention. And Elizabeth Warren didn't do anything. The left didn't do anything, and Bernie didn't want to change his strategy. So yes, but it's not like it's all Bernie's fault. Like, I think, like, even we talked about it. What was it, two episodes ago, that we said if Bernie's run in 2024, I probably won't even like vote for him until I see that he actually has some cojones to going after them. But I think it's some people just go a little bit overboard. And I think that's probably what usually happens with the left. Like, we forget that we are where we are today because of Bernie Sanders, who started pushing and go back and look. 30 years of pushing for the exact same thing. So you can't say like, well, he hasn't done anything, right? Medicare for all is a topic because it brings it in $15 minimum wage, like all this stuff that even it's topic. Yeah, we haven't gotten it, but it's being talked on is because of Bernie Sanders. So the movement of the left, has been there. So yes, could he have done better? Yes, did he run a terrible campaign? Absolutely, but let's not get carried away either.
Yeah, I mean the whole
right, I got
was
another-
shifted, and to reiterate what I said in the chat, it's fine and dining to complain about people, but who's better? Bring somebody that's better.
All right, I got a video that I want to bring up, and this is another one that might piss off some people. I was like, what?
Talk to Democrats upon hearing this kind of news. It's not welcome, certainly not as just a political football, but between what's going on the border, what's happening at the gas pump, what's going on with inflation, you're seeing more and more headlines of prominent Democrats getting frustrated with the president and some looking for alternatives to the president. Don Peoples is with us right now, the Peoples Corporation founder and CEO, very big in Democratic financial circuits, but he's also his own man here and just sort of steps back to look at the problems. Don, I know you're in your core Democrat, but you're also worried as a Democrat, right?
Yeah, I am. I'm worried about a number of things. Of course, the far left, the Democratic Socialists, and others are trying to hijack the party, and that's been pulling a lot of the parties to the left. And then many people have, many of the leaders have stayed too long.
Now, does that include the president?
Well, I think the president, what everybody had in mind for him was he was transitional. He would be, he said it himself, he was going to be a transitional president. And the idea, in fact, that early on the primary season, when I was on your show a couple of times, I said that I thought that the best course of action was to get Kamala Harris as a vice presidential nominee and have her get ready to be president. And the challenge is right now, they're not letting her get ready or learn how to be president. And I think that is going to hurt the Democratic Party because I don't think there's a nominee other than Biden or Harris at the point we are now, and neither one of them are electable against a DeSantis or a Donald Trump.
Her poll numbers are actually worse than his, though. I mean, can you see Democrats rejecting the ticket entirely?
Well, I think that the president has to be crystal clear by the end of this year where he's going. I think he's got to say, I am running or I am going to step aside. And I think they've got to give the vice president the opportunity to become ready to be president and to present herself to the public in a different way. I think she has been done a disservice, and I think she's done herself a disservice on how she's handled things. And so right now, she would be the alternative. I mean, the idea of rejecting and not nominating a sitting president or vice president would be unprecedented. And
well, there have been attempts in the past on the part of both parties to challenge the president. Of course, Jimmy Carter did that with Ted Kennedy. Of course, he ended up losing in the fall anyway in a landslide. We saw Ronald Reagan almost topple Gerald Ford in 1976. Gerald Ford, went on to lose in the general election. So no matter how it works out, I guess it will be damaging to the party, right? In this case, to Democrats.
Yeah, I think Ronald Reagan, though, made Gerald Ford a better.
All right. So, yeah, I think this is a great example, a great case study of a donor telling them how they feel and dictating how things should go.
I didn't mind his opinions.
No, dude, like the thing that pisses me off about these people is that they were like, vote for me, but hey, don't hijack my party. Like, why? Like, why do you even have to say that? Like, why do you even have to be like, oh, it's the socialist left party and stuff? It's like every minute, every word that you could get in is like, I'm gonna spit on your face, but I'm still want you to vote for me because the alternative is DeSantis. Like WTF, man? Like, like after he said that, I stopped listening to everything I said because it's like. It's like they use that tagline for everything. It's like
that was the
beginning about the GOP. Let's just shit on the far left or whatever they want. Like, it's so frustrating.
As a matter of fact, but also that's a GOP tactic where in Dr. Oz and John Fetterman's case, Dr. Oz is trying to attack John Fetterman by saying oh, he's a AOC, Bernie Sanders socialist, and people are like, okay,
once
you don't belong in the state, you don't even live in the state.
Once again, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
No, go.
But once again, the thing is, it's what John says. Why do you have to start that way? All of a sudden, the first thing out your mouth is the vilification of the far left, these extreme socialists that are going to hijack this party. It's like these are the guys you're worried about. You're not worried about the far right guys that these guys have adopted and taken all the way to victory, or the guys that the right has absolutely no problem embracing all the far right people, and then at the end dissing them. Oh, it's like, yeah, thanks for coming. We needed you guys, and we need people to believe things are messed up. We don't want those other people to take over, those far lefties. And now it's like, now you're back at the trailer park. But thanks, though. I'm really with you, though. I'm with you.
Yeah, the far left that is trying to take over, and they took over so much that they gained nothing, versus the right that are doing everything I've been taking over.
But this is what I'm saying. This is the reason why an AOC is not going to get the support. This is the reason why the AOC is not. They're not looking for her. They're not looking for her. That might be the answer, and they still don't want it. You see what I'm saying?
But he did say that people are there too long. That was nice to hear.
Well, that was great. So we're not running the 80-year-old guy. Yay! I mean, ain't nothing but 80-year-old guys up in here.
Have you guys ever heard of the Crying Billionaire? It was a clip that went around viral. You know what I'm talking about? I got a clip. Yeah, I got a clip from him. I'm going to show it right now. But you might agree with half, and then you're going to disagree with the other half.
Should President Biden serve a second term? Give us the Cooperman entry level as the nation considers a second term for the president.
I think he definitely should not run, and I don't think he will run. I am told by people that he's not happy in Washington. He's spending more time with his grandkids in Delaware. He has not done a good job. I voted for him because I voted my values and not my pocketbook. And I found Trump, who has superior economic ideas to Biden, his conduct was just totally unacceptable. And but I think the Democrats are going to get crushed in December. The progressives have led them too far to the left.
Here we go.
The country is centrist in nature, and we got to start working together. We got to start cooperating.
Leon,
and let me, if I may make this point, right? It's not about politics, but I had a sense, with a smile on my face, blame a good man by the name of Barack Obama for a lot of these problems. I don't think that Bush 1 or Bush 2, Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton villainized wealth. He villainized wealth. And I sent him a letter 12 years ago that went viral on the internet.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, and I said to him, Mr. President, you're telling the 99% they're being screwed by the 1%. You should be telling the 99% with hard work and luck they can become part of the 1%. You're depreciating the American dream. Now, unfortunately, President Biden has picked up on that theme.
Right.
I see no reason to villainize wealth. How do you get to be wealthy? You develop a product or service the world needs.
Should President...
He lost me at the end.
This is when I changed my stand where billionaires shouldn't exist. Like because of guys like this. This is where I cannot defend anything about what I've said before. Like
it was like letting your grandfather start riffing. You know what I'm saying? And it started out really good, and then all of a sudden it went, but it's these guys that are the problem. You're like, oh, Grandpa, what are you doing? It's horrible.
So the Democrats going to get crushed because of the left, not because they haven't done anything, but because of the left.
Not because you promised something and you brought some people here that might bring you that. Not because of that. Not because anybody didn't do their jobs. It's because we're getting too far away from these guys that actually want universal health care. That's the problem.
Yeah. And then he said Obama, of all people, villainized the wealthy. Mr. Wall Street Obama, that they got a ton of wealth under his tenure.
Making Bush tax
bailed out.
Obama.
Yeah, bailed out 2008. Exactly. The crooks from 2008. This is the guy who's like saying wealth sucks.
No bankers went to jail.
Really?
Nobody went to jail. Everybody got free.
All the spine and everything.
And, oh my God!
But
Barry, I love you, but you did the wrong thing.
That's the Democrat playbook. If we lose, blame the left. If we win, it's because we got somebody that's electable, not because the left got you there. But that's going to be so. You already know November is going to be. They're going to get slaughtered, and it's going to be like, oh, it's Bernie
It's the
Sanders'
same
fault.
thing.
It's
the
the
same thing
left.
because all these people that are out there putting this, narrative, where are they doing it at? Corporate-owned media, So they're not gonna talk about how the left is for improving the working man when they don't care. They want to make money for corporations, but they're corporations.
I'm surprised nobody's ever come on and be like, you know what the problem is? We're going too far to the right. We're embracing all these crazy people. No one says that. Not the right, not the left.
So
no one says that.
I'm
surprised
when he said, like, Obama said that the 99% is getting screwed by the 1%. The dude wouldn't be like, yeah, that's true. Like any good reporter would have been like, that's pretty accurate.
Let's not villainize wealth. That is wealth. That's what's going on.
I think we got time for one more clip, and this is going to show you the hypocrisy of the GOP. So I want you to see if you guys can spot it.
This.
Is the fighting among the Democrats. Biden wants people to vote, and that's how you would, affect change on this, by passing laws. The clip you showed of AOC is enough. That's not enough. Voting won't save us, or whatever it is she said. I find it amazing that you have.
You said elections are not enough. Elections alone are not going to save
elections
us.
are not enough. What does she want the president to do? Completely disregard an institution of our government? Completely, go outside the norms of our democracy? I was under the impression that Democrats wanted norms and wanted strong institutions. She's calling for the complete disregarding of an institution here, the United States Supreme Court.
Let's be careful when we ask the president to do more in terms of executive orders. What one president writes in pen, another president can erase.
Yeah, no, that's true. I want to
one thing.
Oh, really? Now you understand about the executive orders and all these things. Like, do they know a guy named Trump? Like, did all of these things, and like now that the Democrats have power to do the exact same thing and maybe bring us back to normalcy, by doing executive orders and things. These guys are just, they don't understand.
They don't care about hypocrisy. They don't care.
This is me turning onto the page 192 of the playbook. Vote like your life depends on it. Vote.
That's the Democratic playbook.
That's the Democratic playbook. And it's true. Like, that's what I'm saying. AOC is true. Like, voting is not enough. They told us that in 2016. They told us that in 2018. They told us that in 2020. Now 2022 is the same thing. Vote. No, you have majority. You said you told us you were electable. You told us you could work across the aisle. So, and now you're using Cinema and Manchin as a protect shield to get nothing done. If you could really work across the aisle, you telling me that you can't get anybody else to, like, you can't get those two on board, and you don't even go after them? We talked about it. You could have gone after his daughter when she did what she did with the EpiPen stuff, and you gave his wife a job that pays her like $200,000. Biden gave Joe Manchin a wife a job that pays her $200,000 to do something. Why you still have her on your payroll? You got to play hardball when these people whatever, voting is not enough, and it's true.
Jordan, I see you in the chat. We're going to bring you on in a second. We're just going to finish off. With Jordan. Yeah, we're going to overtime. We're just going to finish off this segment. So, but I think I'm losing my train of thought on what I wanted to say. Yeah, basically, and I think I talked to John about this. Like, I know you might disagree with me still, but we need to do the executive orders to reverse everything that Trump did. Like, Biden should have did that on day one to show strength. You know what I'm saying? Right now, his ratings are in the tank. He should be busting out those executive orders. Everything. Matter of fact, I had a clip. And I might. So we'll see if we have time. But basically, it's a clip of the Breakfast Club. They had Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank. I think Kevin O'Leary, and he was talking about how he would love to invest in cannabis companies, but because it's still on the Schedule 1, it's literally a crime that if you go from one state where it's legal to another state that's illegal, you get 25 years.
You could allegedly.
This is something that Biden could do by himself. Go ahead, Ben.
I'm saying it's his lawyer said that he allegedly could get sued and make it all the way up to him, and he could be found guilty for transportation. But it's not. It's like he's playing it safe. It's not like it's.
You get the point. You get the point that Biden could be doing things So, all right. Any last words on this, and then we're going to go to my man Jordan Ryan.
So
Go ahead, John.
I could agree with you totally with the executive order to undo everything Trump did. What I'm saying is, when you're saying run an executive order, that's not a winnable message. That's what I disagree. But absolutely, like if I become president, first thing I do, Trump did 100 executive order, I'm doing 100 executive order of the exactly opposite of what he did. I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, you gotta do it. Make it the second order, and then you run on. Hey, let's make these bills. Let's make this permanent.
Yeah, let's make this permanent. All right. With that ado, we're going to our first guest from the chat, Jordan Ryan. Welcome to the chat. What's going on? Thank you for coming on. I saw that you said you wasn't mad at us or anything, but definitely I like to have different opinions on the show. So let's see if we can hear you.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's going on, Jordan?
Not much. Yeah, man, I got no, problems with you guys. I wasn't like getting hot or anything like that. So
yeah, much love.
Keep it spicy.
Well, yeah, man, I was just viewing it from like the question point of, are they doing good? Not so much of, is there someone better? Even though I would say Fetterman has proven that you can basically not just get punched in the face and sit there. You know what I mean? Like, AOC has basically just kowtowed to the corporate wing of the party. I mean, Jamal Bowman as well. She said she supported the Palestine, the whole situation over there. Then she gets bullied into giving another $1 billion for, basically ethnic cleansing to be carried out over there. So I just, there's too much discord from what she says and what she actually ends up doing. You can lose some of these fights, but you got to fight. That's really my main beef.
Let me ask you this: will you support a Fetterman AOC ticket?
Yes.
So
I don't hate AOC. You know what I mean? It's just
we get
I expected way more from her. You know what I mean?
Everybody did. Everybody.
I always say happiness is a function of expectations. You expect too much from people, they're gonna disappoint you, man. It just happens.
And that's why,
I think, like Kay said with Fetterman, he's anti-BDS already, so he's not squeaky clean either.
Oh, really? I didn't know about the anti-BDS thing. I thought he just said he didn't support it. He didn't support it.
I think that's enough for me as a progressive for that to be a red flag. And I know Bernie doesn't support BDS, so that's a red flag for me for Bernie.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
That's why I'm like kind of grading on a curve.
Being anti, I don't know maybe I'm splitting hairs here.
I think that the problem that we have sometimes, even in the left, we face, right? It's like, and this is not making an excuse for any politician, is that we all looking for 10 out of 10 politician, and I don't think, and that's just a unicorn. I think we got to see and say, okay, like, I disagree with this person here, but I agree with 7 of this point, and I'd rather have 7 than have none, right? But a lot of the time we sit here and we're like 10 out of 10. Like, we have talked in this show before, like we expected AOC to be like a A student, right? We got maybe a C+, B- student, but like we can't just be like, oh, we're giving her an F and she's automatically fail. And that's sometimes where the left is eating the left, right? We just expect everybody this perfect, and then it's automatically scratch them out and be like, well, she's doing this and this person is doing that. Like, there's no such thing as a perfect politician, and we have to be realistic. And it's the same issue that we have with Bernie, right? Like Bernie broke a lot of people's heart. Like, he just gave in but still did. I'd rather have Joe Biden or Bernie Sanders. Like, I'll take Bernie Sanders any given day.
Yeah, like what I agree with you, Jordan, that we do got to hold them accountable. We do got to call them out when they do things that we don't support. What I don't like is when people go like, oh, she's just trash, like whatever, it's pointless. At that point, it's like, okay, how are we going to move forward?
Mm-hmm.
I hear that.
And Bill Coalition. Go ahead, Jordan, and then I'm jumping. Let me just say one thing. I'll let you start, Jordan. Like, I like what Chris Smalls did, where he called her out, but then he called her in, right? So she was able to come to the next event and with Bernie, and they they held hands and they had a.
But in that scenario,
even though
what did the left do? In that scenario, the left ate her alive.
Go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah, it's kind of like what I was saying earlier. I expect them to fight. Like AOC, I was expecting her to be a C because I always gonna temper my expectations. But what policies has she actually gotten passed? Like what policies has she even gotten onto bills that didn't pass? Like
see, this is what I hate about that that like example, because if you're progressive and you make enemies of people, matter of fact, she's trying to be nice, she's trying to get along with people. But let's say you're a fire breathing progressive, you're definitely not going to pass anything. You're going to be like Marjorie Taylor Greene, where I don't think she has anything passed either, because she's on the outskirts. They took her away from her committee seat and all these different things. So my litmus test, or what I would like to see from a progressive politician, until there's a lot of progressives in office that you could really get something passed, just keep hitting them hard. Go to media, go to independent news media, RBN, TYT, anywhere, and just keep flaming your own party. Keep hitting them up and saying, hey, Democrats need to do more. Because why? By the time Biden comes around and shows how weak he is on the repeal of Roe v. Wade and all these different things, now you've built up enough capital that even what's her name, Desma Masson, she's the actress that hated Bernie, but now she's like telling Biden like, hey, I'm not going to vote for you again. Or she was like, why am I voting for you if you're not going to do anything?
Oh, Deborah Messing.
You guys know what I'm talking about?
Deborah Messing, who used to be
yes. Okay. Yes. So that's the point I'm trying to make, is that we need somebody fire breathing, so that by the time the political wind comes in that direction, now everybody can say, oh, that person was right. Let's say Case was in office and I was doing that. They'd be like, yo, this guy Case, I didn't like him before, but he seems like to have a point.
Mayonnaise Taylor Greene, whatever the hell, she's a good example because she's not getting anything done, but she's as popular as she's ever been. Raising a lot of and moving her party to the right. So she's influential.
Go ahead, Jordan.
A lot of the policies that MTG supports are getting passed. She supported this. Yes, it's not exactly policy, but this overturn of Roe versus Wade, she supports. These gun bills, she supports. Stopping these bills from getting passed, she supports. What bills have gotten passed that she doesn't support? What
bill passed that she sponsored or that she initiated?
So I'm not arguing with that per se, but it's that the core of her party she aligns with, and those positions are still getting passed through.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Like,
align with
what compromises has AOC brought into the table? I'm not against compromise in any way, but what compromises has she gotten out?
I would say,
didn't she recently?
The compromise was the Build Back Better bill, and that still didn't get passed, and that was Biden's bill.
It was compromised.
That's his agenda.
And they didn't do much about that either. Like, she gets credit for like saying, I don't like that they got split up. But then she wasn't out on TV, like ripping Biden about it. She was just like, I don't like this. We'll see where it goes. She
also just said that carbon was good. She also said carbon was good. I mean, is her whole party down with that?
Carbon.
Right, yeah. You see this? There's a clip where this is Marjorie Taylor Greene we're talking about, right?
Oh no, AOC.
AOC. That's different. MGT was another one of those. I was like, what? No, my bad. Because I thought AOC did not say that. MGT did say that. But we're talking about how MGT's just stays popular, even though she's like not necessarily sponsoring a bill or doing something. She stays like in the party, in the lane of the party, and she does stuff that's totally completely off the lane too.
Be real.
I want tangible things
for her.
I hear what you're saying.
You said, like you said, she aligns with the crazies over there. Most of the Republicans, they're crazy. And also on the part about stopping things, it's much easier. You just filibuster without even speaking. It's easier to stop progress than to actually do progress.
I just think like a perfect.
Thank you so much, Jordan. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We do this every week now. Man. We're trying this. This is something new that we want people in the audience to come on. If you want to debate us or talk about any topic, And like, I love the fact that we were able to be cordial and, you know, nobody is here calling somebody names or anything like that. This is what I love to have these kind of conversation, and it's past 9 o'clock. But Jordan, come back next week and we can have another talk.
And we talk on the chat.
Thanks for having me on.
You know, I'm going to bed early. I got to be up like 5 tomorrow. But I see you in the chat, man. We could get at it.
Let's go.
Yeah. So let me go around the horn. And matter of fact, real quick, let me shout out the people in the chat. And by the way, Base, I saw you said Fetterman / AOC, y'all tripping. I think he was just giving a little example.
Right.
That he wasn't serious about that ticket. He was just giving an example. Holly Horn, PJ Holly, PJ Chris, Aaliyah was in the chat. I know Mia somewhere out there. Mario C, much love to you. Who else was? And Jordan, of course, thank you for coming on the show. And we love anybody hop in the chat. The link is going to be in the chat every show that you can hop on the show and join us, and we can have a discussion. Let me go around the horn, say bye to my guys. Big Pun.
Thank you for having me again. Interesting convo. It's good. Good exchange. Good stuff.
Love it, John.
The left need to stop eating the left. There's no such things as a 10 out of 10 politician. Hold people accountable, but also just don't watch CNN or Jimmy Dore and stuff like that. Watch stuff because there's stuff out there that is being said, and there is politicians being called out, and then we want to say that's not happening. So we need to figure out how we could come together and find that politician that may give us 6 out of 10 or 7 out of the 10 things that we're looking for.
I say John 2024. That's what I say. Bidon. Carlitos.
Yo, peace up, A-Town down. And as far as politics, yo, any politician could get it. I say primary everyone. Primary AOC, I don't care. Because all that's going to do is bring them to the left. Move the Overton window, and then better candidates. Primary everybody.
That's right. And let me give a shout out to our we got a little change in the Patreon members. So Nancy Venture, Deborah B, PJ Chris, Akabash Akita, Zachary Guston, and Shanika Thompson. Thank you, Shanika, for being our latest Patreon. Thanks for joining. And you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. We appreciate that. Thank you for coming through this week. We'll be back here again next Monday. Much love to y'all.
Peace.
Adios.